Name of the community that's a part of Rossville that I know about is Sandy Ground. And Sandy Ground was started in 1828. New York abolished slavery in 1827, and this community started in 1828. First settler, a man named Holmes. And then after him came Jackson, and Jackson is always featured in the Staten Island Advance as the first black man to buy property on Staten Island, and he bought it out here in Sandy Ground. After him came two brothers, Moses and Silas Harris, and they had been free, one in New Jersey and one in Manhattan, and they bought this property out here on Staten Island because they wanted to be farmers. And they got out here and found out that the soil was sandy, not the fertile soil that you might find in Pleasant Plains or in other parts of the area. This soil was sandy. So I tell the children when they come out, if life deals you lemons, you make lemonade. So find something that grows good in the sandy soil. And they were said to have introduced the strawberry crop to Staten Island, which grows very well in sandy soil. What used to go along the water was boats that would pick up people's products. They would buy it from them, pick up their products and take them to market. They did away with the middleman and took their own products to market, and from that they became quite wealthy. So that the first name of this town was Harrisville. It was named after the Harris brothers. And then it became known as Little Africa, because African Americans felt that this was a place where they could come and live and be safe and make a living. This South Shore of Staten Island offered that to the African American community. And they settled out here. The name then finally became just plain Sandy Ground. But the community grew. It grew to 180 families, 2 churches, and 2 schools. And it was first farming, and then it switched to oystering, because we had people come in from Maryland who were oystermen. But in the early 1900s, they began to build factories along the water, and the water became polluted. Someone died from eating a tainted oyster, and the government said, "No more pollution? No more oystering." So they stopped oystering in these waters, and the oystermen then had to move on to some place where they could work. Some of them left their families here and would go away all week and come back on the weekend. But then they gradually began to move away, and the community got smaller and smaller. Then in 1963, there was a major brush fire on Staten Island that started in Great Kills, and it went all the way out to Tottenville. And it destroyed about 100 homes on Staten Island from Great Kills down to Tottenville. And we lost 25 homes in Sandy Ground. So, that looked like a big hit behind the oystermen moving on. And so a group of us from the church got together in 1979 and decided that we were going to do something to try to preserve the history, because the community was changing. So we formed the Sandy Ground Historical Society in 1979, and we have been gathering and presenting this history ever since that time. We run other kinds of programs. We did a quilt class for anybody who was interested. And we also did something on how to trace your ancestry. And so as a result, we have these beautiful quilts made by the people who attended the class on the history of their family. I believe that communities change, but the history remains the same. And if we didn't do something to preserve it, it would disappear.